By now, everybody should have seen the Brand New Day trailer, and to be honest, it looks like it could be movie of the year. But there's a lot we still don't know about this movie. However, I do think that there are some key hints and clues within the trailer that point towards the overall plot of the film. My biggest theory is about a character very important to Spider-Man lore who I think will make an appearance within this movie. If any of my theories turn out to be correct, then fair spoiler warning ahead for anybody who doesn't want the plot of the movie spoiled for them. For those of you who don't know, I'm Abyss from the Hive Mind Comics, and let's jump straight into this. Alright, so the character that I'm talking about is Ezekiel. He first made his appearance during the JMS run, where he deepened and explored the lore behind Spider-Man's powers, not just being a result of coincidence. He is what you call a spider totem, which at its core, without any of the extra hoopla, is just a fancy word for somebody with spider powers. He introduced the lore to the Spider-Man mythos that the spider powers are more of a ritualistic gift than an accident, kind of like a divine energy that's passed throughout the multiverse. Within the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer, it's very clear that Peter's going through some form of change within his powers. We see this through him seemingly gaining organic webbing.
To me.
Now, on its own, organic webbing doesn't point to the spider totem story at all, but pieces of dialogue within the trailer lead me to believe this to be the case. Then the trailer, we hear Keith David give a monologue explaining whatever's going on with Spider-Man's powers. At this point in time, Keith David's character is completely uncasted and unknown. Hell, there's so many theories and apparent leaks saying that this isn't even Keith David in the trailer.
Spiders have 3 life cycles. When between cycles, it can leave the spider vulnerable to threats. I'm talking to you, dirtbag. Not a healthy idea.
However, he is specifically talking about the rebirth and power cycles that spiders go through, alluding to the idea that whatever's happening to Spider-Man is more attributed to spiders and specifically something about the spiders themselves rather than just the genetic mutation that Peter goes through that gave him his powers in the first place.
If DNA is mutating, it would be enormously dangerous.
They're making it very clear to focus on the spider itself, which is really important to Ezekiel's character because he got his powers because he committed a ritual with the spiders. And at this point in time, we know nothing about this movie in terms of who the primary antagonist is. This is a great moment to segue into the main villain of this film, being Morlun. Spider-Man is going through this ritual or some form of rebirth within his spider powers, and whatever is happening to his powers is channeling more energy, drawing Morlun closer to Peter. For those of you who don't know, Morlun was also introduced in this JMS run with Ezekiel, and he is a vampiric-like entity that feeds off of these spider totems. Now, going back to Keith David, because he is still uncast, I think it is highly likely that he is actually the one who is playing Ezekiel. In the comics, all of this is explained to Spider-Man through Ezekiel. He's like this old guardian figure who's been through it all, who's re-explaining it to Peter so he can learn about his importance. MCU Peter's time first getting his powers is completely unexplored. Using this to give further context to how he got his powers and how this all ties back into the Inheritors and the Spider Totems can all be explored within this film. I think using Ezekiel and the Spider Totem storyline is a perfect way to do this. Now, if we look later in the trailer in the scene where Spider-Man is fighting against the Hand, I think it's very clear that there are characters chopped out of this scene the same way they did in No Way Home. If we remember in No Way Home, they tried to pretend like this was Peter 1v6ing the Sinister Six. And then if we cut back to the Brand New Day trailer, it seems as if the Hand is in line with characters under Peter, meaning there are probably characters chopped out of this scene. Now, many people have theorized that it's Daredevil or Punisher or somebody like that, but to me, this doesn't really make a lot of sense Daredevil is already a major character within the MCU and is in his second season of Brand New Day currently. He also has almost no relevance to the apparent plot of the movie through the trailer already. And it's not like this is his first appearance in the MCU anyways. We saw him in No Way Home, and he has his own show. The same way Punisher wasn't a big reveal in the trailer, they just showed him outright, because he's already a known and prevalent character within the MCU through other shows. So, if there's a character chopped out of this scene, it has to be either their very first appearance or they have major importance to the movie. This is why I think it's Ezekiel actually in this scene. Not only would him being shown in the trailer reveal the entire plot of the movie just by connecting who he is, it would also just spoil his first appearance in the MCU. For those of you who don't know, Ezekiel does in fact have spider powers and can do similar things to Peter himself, making it make sense that Ezekiel would be included in fight scenes within the movie. Now, speaking of this scene, just because of the height of Spider-Man in comparison to the rest of the Hand, it is entirely possible that there's more than just one character cut from this scene. Sadie Sink is also in this movie, and we don't know who she plays yet either. This one is kind of a shot in the dark, but if I'm including Ezekiel in my theory for what this movie is going to be, it's entirely plausible that Sadie Sink also plays a character related to Ezekiel. In this case, that would be Cindy Moon or Silk. Silk, like Ezekiel, is another spider totem. As I mentioned prior, Morlun hunts down spider totems and feeds off of their energy. Knowing this, Ezekiel hid away Cindy Moon so she would be protected against Morlun. In the trailer, we see a glimpse of Sadie Sink, and what is she? Held captive in some sort of containment center. I think it's entirely possible that in that scene with the Hand, it is Spider-Man, Silk, and Ezekiel taking on the Hand. Now, on Twitter too, it's rumored that Keith David's character is actually going to be the Jackal. Pretty sure this is more than just a rumor and actually a leak. However, leaks aren't confirmed, nor are they certain. Therefore, I think this theory of him playing Ezekiel is still 100% valid. Now, I could be completely shooting in the dark, and this is a completely different movie from what I'm theorizing it to be, but I think the strong implications within the trailer lead me to believe that this is actually going to be what it is. If you guys liked this theory and want to see this in the movie, please leave a like on the video. If you enjoy videos like this where I just kind of rant about topics, please consider subscribing. I post like this all the time. And comment down below your theories and what you think of this theory, and if you even want to see it in the movie. Until then, I'll catch you guys in the next video.